after you've drained your sauce out of the dill, it's gonna look like this. And then you just go ahead and pop that right in the fridge. Chill it for up to 8 hours. And then what you're gonna get after that is 2 fresh plates of apricot cobbler.
Hey, wait, Michael. That's not what we're making. We're not making apple cobbler.
Apricot cobbler.
We're not making apricot cobbler.
It's so good, Sam. Now we're ready to start on our Napoleon's proper. So, we're going to take a sheet of this phyllo pastry. That's what it's called. Extremely thin. You buy it at the store frozen. You can make your own if you want to be a fancy chef, but really, by the point that you're making your own phyllo pastry, you're just being pretentious. So what you're going to want to do, take this and just butter it. Just going to spread this butter across it. You want to get a nice basting brush. My basting brush is more of a paintbrush. Unfortunately, I did buy it as a basting brush. I didn't buy it from the art supply store or anything. So let's start with the next one, and you pull this right over. And I folded it. So it doesn't really matter if it gets kind of wrinkly, because you're just going to cook it, and it's all going down the same hole, really. So, and then it's going to turn into poop, and you're going to flush it into the sewers. So what do you care? Now, your buttering technique, although it might not seem like it, is key. If you butter around the edges too quickly, or if you close off certain areas, you're going to get these air bubbles. And these air bubbles are going to prevent the heat moving around through the pastry properly. They're going to slow down the cooking in certain areas, and it's just going to make the whole thing suck. So if you get air bubbles, you're going to have to play with them a little bit, move them around, but ideally your goal is to, when you put on the sheet, keep it flat and regular the whole way across, work out your air bubbles, and then start from your center and work out. That way, if air bubbles start to develop, you can still just push them along as you're flattening the rest of it down with the butter. Alright? Nothing to worry about. If you make a mistake at the beginning and you notice it, when you're layering phyllo pastry, it's super easy to just fix that mistake on your next couple of layers. Now, you're going to want to cut this phyllo pastry into 12 4.5 by 2 size rectangles. Those are in inches. Now, this is just a ruler that we've grabbed from the other room. I don't recommend using such a ruler. However, try to minimize the cross-contamination of using this dirty, filthy ruler dragged around through the mud and in backpacks to arts classes. We're only going to use it once, and then we're going to, so we go 4.5, we make a little cut there, and then 2, and we make a cut here, and then we're done with it. Now you're thinking, what do you do here? Easy. Take this, place it here. Tells me exactly how big my cut should be. Now, as you're doing this, you're going to want to start placing these on the buttered cookie sheets that you have prepared. If you don't have them prepared, that's your fault, bub. Sorry. So on each of these, you can fit about 6, which is good. Now, Alex, is the oven, how long has the oven been preheating?
10 minutes.
You got all this leftover phyllo pastry, some of it's cut, some of it's just ripped up. If you want, you can get a 3rd cookie sheet, just kind of throw these on, stick them on the other ones, hanging off the corners. These don't matter, these need to be well shapen. They just make a nice little nibbly treat that you can, or you can throw them in a toaster oven. We're going to do that with the little pieces that we have. I'm going to put them on this cookie tray. We're going to use the rest of our butter here and just lube this up real quick, because if you have leftovers, don't waste them. There are people who would crawl on their hands and knees on broken glass to get that phyllo pastry. What are you about to do? Throw it in the garbage? I don't fucking think so. Throw that right in there. Done. And does this beep? I don't know anything about this oven. Does this beep when it's pre-cooked?
Well, the light goes out.
The light goes out. Show them the light. While you're waiting for your oven to preheat, if you've already gotten your Milo sheet spread, what you want to do is sprinkle these. They're sesame seeds. You can buy these at the store, you can buy them in bulk, you can buy them as seasoning. Sesame seeds are all over the place. If you're really poor, you can go through your own McDonald's wrappers. You probably drop some. Or if you're a little less poor, then you just go to McDonald's and start, picking them off the top of the burgers. And just toss them right there in the oven. Bottom rack, top rack. Close it up. Those will be ready in 8 minutes. Using the magic of television, we're gonna put the camera on the tripod. Is it on there?
Yeah.
And we're gonna show you what those look like right now. All right, there we go. There's our pastry. So what we're gonna want to do now is we're gonna start layering it and putting the salmon on it along with the sauce. So let's get to it. I've laid down my first little phyllo sheet and we're just gonna throw some leaves of this Belgian endive around it. This is basically, it's a really simple salad base. Belgian endive, it's a small but flavorful kind of offshoot of lettuce. We have the endive down. We have our first phyllo piece. Now we're gonna crack open our smoked Atlantic salmon. Continued in part 3.